Listen up, Skol Nation, because the ground beneath U.S. Bank Stadium is shaking right now, and I am losing my mind over what just dropped from the facility. We are in the middle of the most chaotic offseason in recent memory, and everything we thought we knew about our quarterback room just got flipped upside down. This news is a total game changer for our 2026 season, and you will not believe how the coaching staff is dodging the truth. We are building this tribe together, so hit that subscribe button and help us reach 3,000 subscribers right now, Skol. The air in Minnesota is thick with tension today because the hierarchy of our offense is being called into question in the most public way possible. Frank Smith is in his first season as the assistant head coach under Kevin O'Connell, and he just stepped into the spotlight to address the one thing every single one of us is obsessed with. We are talking about the massive shadow hanging over the facility, which is the potential battle between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy for that starting spot. Now look, we all know the deal here because NFL insiders like Tom Pelissero are shouting from the rooftops that this is a wide-open race. But let us be real for a second, because logic usually dictates that an established superstar like Kyler Murray should have the keys to the castle while J.J. McCarthy is still trying to find his footing in this league. J.J. McCarthy is only 23 years old, and he is coming off 10 starts that most experts would call mediocre at best. So the idea of him unseating a guy with the pedigree of Kyler Murray feels like a fever dream. Yet here we are in the year 2026, and the coaching staff refuses to shut the door on the controversy, which makes me wonder what they are seeing behind closed doors. Frank Smith sat down on the podcast called The Set with Terran Armstead. And the moment the question was popped about this being a true competition, he went into full survival mode. It is absolutely wild to watch a coach use so many words to say absolutely nothing, and it leaves us fans scratching our heads about the direction of this franchise. Are we looking at a legitimate changing of the guard, or is this just a massive smokescreen to keep everyone motivated through the grind of the offseason? I want you to look at the facts and tell me if you think J.J. McCarthy actually has a shot at beating out Kyler Murray. When Terran Armstead asked Frank Smith if this was a true quarterback competition, the assistant head coach turned into Neo from The Matrix and started leaning back to let those questions fly right past him like speeding bullets. It was a masterclass in coach speak that would make any politician jealous because he completely refused to give us a straight answer about the future of Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. Frank Smith started talking about the need to teach skills and fundamentals that are going to translate all the way to February, and he mentioned building a foundation that can sustain the highs and lows of a grueling NFL season. He basically told us that talking about specific positions and how things are playing out is irrelevant right now because they are focused on the collective improvement of the entire program. It is frustrating as a fan because we want clarity, but Frank Smith is playing the long game by saying everyone is just trying to get better than they were the year before. He emphasized that we are only in phase 2, week 2 of the offseason program, so it is far too early to be making proclamations about who will be under center when the bullets start flying for real. But you have to ask yourself why they are being so secretive, if the answer is obvious. If Kyler Murray is the undisputed leader of this team, then why not just say it and put the rumors to bed once and for all? Instead, we get this vague talk about evolving the scheme and building knowledge, which only adds fuel to the fire that J.J. McCarthy might be closer to the starting job than any of us originally anticipated. The tension is palpable, and every single word out of TCO Performance Center is being dissected by fans who are desperate for a championship run. We are seeing a coach who is worried about the standard of today rather than the headlines of tomorrow, which is admirable, but it keeps us in a state of constant anxiety. The narrative escalation here is reaching a breaking point because we are seeing a clash between insider reports and common sense. You have to realize that Tom Pelissero is not just throwing darts at a board when he says that Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy will be competing for the job because he has his ears to the ground in a way that most people do not. But then you look at the raw statistics and the sheer talent gap, and it feels like we are living in two different realities. Kyler Murray is a dual-threat nightmare for opposing defenses, and he has the veteran savvy to navigate the complexities of Kevin O'Connell's system. On the other hand, you have J.J. McCarthy, who is the young gun with everything to prove, but his limited sample size of 10 mediocre starts makes you wonder if he is truly ready for the bright lights of the NFC North. This is a classic redemption arc versus the rising star storyline, and the Vikings are milking it for every ounce of drama they can find. Frank Smith even admitted that Terron Armstead had to ask the question because it is the only thing anyone cares about right now. But he just kept pivoting back to the identity of the offense. He talked about building a communication system that allows the team to be successful the whole year regardless of who is taking the snaps. This makes me think that the Vikings are trying to build a system that is bigger than any one player. But we all know that the NFL is a quarterback-driven league. If you do not have the right guy under center, everything else falls apart like a house of cards. The pressure on J.J. McCarthy to perform at a high level and challenge a veteran like Kyler Murray is immense, and it creates a fascinating dynamic in the locker room. We are watching a high-stakes game of chess where the winner gets to lead this historic franchise into a new era of dominance. I am losing my mind here, because the more I listen to Frank Smith, the more I feel like there is a secret being kept from the Skol Nation. He said that whether it is the quarterback or the wideouts or the offensive line, the challenge right now is to get on the same page and make sure expectations are aligned. But let us be honest, because the quarterback position is not like any other spot on the field, and the ripple effects of this decision will be felt by every single person in that building. If Kyler Murray is looking over his shoulder at J.J. McCarthy, it could either light a fire under him or create a rift that ruins the chemistry of the entire offense. Seriously, think about the psychology of a superstar who is being told he has to fight for his job against a 23-year-old kid. It is a bold strategy from the coaching staff, and it shows that Kevin O'Connell and Frank Smith are not afraid to ruffle some feathers if it means getting the best possible performance out of their players. The insider vibe suggests that the Vikings want to create a culture of relentless competition where nothing is handed to anyone regardless of their paycheck or their past achievements. This is the kind of aggressive storytelling that keeps us glued to our screens because it feels like a real-life drama unfolding in real time. We are seeing the raw truth of how a modern NFL franchise operates, and it is not always pretty or comfortable for the players involved. I have a theory that the Vikings are actually much higher on J.J. McCarthy than the public realizes, and they are using this offseason to see if he can handle the mental load of being a franchise savior. It is a massive gamble that could define the legacy of this coaching staff for years to come, and we are all along for the ride. The standard they are setting is incredibly high, and they want every guy on that offense to know exactly who they want to be. This brings us to the grand finale of this saga because the Murray versus McCarthy discussion is going to be the heartbeat of the Vikings all summer long. We are going to see them dance around this topic in every press conference and every interview until the pads come on in training camp. Frank Smith made it clear that they are focused on getting to where they want to be when it matters most, which is when the games actually count in the standings. But for us fans, the waiting is the hardest part because we can see the potential for greatness if they make the right call. If J.J. McCarthy can somehow bridge the gap and prove he belongs on the same field as Kyler Murray, then we might have the most talented quarterback room in the entire league. However, until we see J.J. McCarthy actually splitting first-team reps with the starters, it is almost impossible to imagine Kyler Murray not being the guy for Week 1. This is our year to prove the doubters wrong and show the rest of the league that Minnesota is a force to be reckoned with in 2026. We need to be united as a tribe and support whoever steps under center because the goal remains the same, which is bringing a trophy back to the Twin Cities. I want to see your fire in the comments right now because I need to know where you stand on this. Are you riding with the experience and explosive playmaking of Kyler Murray, or are you ready to usher in the future with J.J. McCarthy? Is this coaching staff genius for creating this competition, or are they making a massive mistake by not naming a starter? I want to see 3,000 subscribers on this channel by the time training camp starts, so hit that button and join the most passionate fan base in football. We are building something special here, and your voice is a massive part of this journey. Let's get loud and show the world what Skol culture is all about. Skol!